Hi, if you're new here, hello, I'm Estonia, and have you ever wanted to run your own bookstore? Well, in this game you can do just that, and today I'm going to be completing the whole thing. So chill with me for a little while, grab some snacks, and let's 100% Tiny Bookshop. We open on this shot of a car driving through the countryside as we've packed up our entire life in search of something slower, selling books by the sea. Before long, we pull right up on the waterfront with a trailer behind the car. After clicking open the windows and swinging open the door, our tiny travelling bookstore is officially open for business for the very first time. Almost immediately, we get our first visitor. A woman wanders in, introducing herself as Tilda and welcomes us to the town. She mentions that starting fresh can be a little bit overwhelming, and this is not my first cozy game. I have been here many times before. As she chats, she lets us know that she has a preference for crime books and starts browsing our shelves, during which she finds a detective book that she likes. So, when a customer finds a book that they actually want in this game, they don't just buy it and leave, they actually stick around looking for more. More browsing means more sales for us. But as our stocks actually start to run low, it becomes less and less likely that new customers will find what they're looking for at all. Keeping that in mind though, we spend the rest of the day selling a few more books to customers until we meet Fern. Fern actually works for the local newspaper and decides that our little bookshop is newsworthy enough to interview us for a piece that he's writing. In return, we'll get a free newspaper subscription, which kind of feels wildly generous for someone who's literally just met us 30 seconds ago, but I'm not going to question it. He mentions that our first newspaper will arrive tomorrow morning, has a browse through the shop, and before we know it, the day is coming to a close. As night falls though, the customers head off and I pack the whole bookshop back up, ready to do it again tomorrow. The next morning, however, Fern's newspaper arrives. The paper tells us everything happening around Buxtonbury, including the weather, some upcoming events, how much money we made, or in my case a lot of the times didn't make, but most importantly it lets us buy new books and items for the shop. With my first purchase being a cactus, well, my first obtaining of an item being a cactus because it was free, I place it inside the shop and learn that items aren't just decorative in this game, but they actually have gameplay effects too. This cactus gives us a boost to drama book sales, and this becomes really important later because some of the achievements that I need to get straight up require you to understand and exploit these decoration systems properly, but that is a problem for future me. For right now, I have much bigger priorities like the colour of my wagon. I spend a little bit of time customizing the shop and eventually settle on a black, white and green colour scheme. Not because I wanted this palette, I had to work with what I got and there was no orange in the opening colour section. This game is already ruining my branding. With the shop restocked, we head back to the waterfront for another day of selling books. Tilda stops by again and tells us that her friend Mary owns a successful shop in the town centre. After that, she asks us to meet her at Cafe Liberté as soon as we can. This introduces to us our first stamp challenge, which are a huge deal for this playthrough. I need every single one of these to hit 100%, and while this one is nice and straightforward, like go to this place, I can tell you right now, not all of them are going to be like that. Before she leaves, Tilda points us towards Walt, who, by the way, if I call Willie at all during my video, just pretend you heard Walt instead, giving us the challenge to introduce ourselves. I walk over, say hello, and just like that, I earn my very first stamp. Walt then immediately gives us another task to sell 20 books to the local sailors. Sailors? I swear I can speak. That's gonna have to be a tomorrow job though, so I'm gonna put off Cafe Liberté for now and head right back to the waterfront to complete it. Fern pops by again and casually mentions that during summer, everyone flocks to the beach. He points me in the right direction, unlocking a brand new location on the map, and it immediately throws another challenge at me to visit the beach 3 times. I have not even been to Cafe Liberté yet. Whilst looking around the waterfront, I spot a stray dog just hanging out nearby. I go over to say hello and realise that he's hungry, and the game gives me the challenge to throw the dog a treat. In this exact moment, every other objective becomes completely irrelevant. The beach, Tilda, the cafe meetup. Nope, I am feeding this dog if it's the last thing I do. Unfortunately, however, I have no bones on me, so for now, I'm gonna have to do the only thing I can, pet him, and promise I will be back. With that absolute unresolved guilt hanging over me, I decide to head to the far beach, thinking there might be something for the dog there. Since it is summer and the game literally has a section about tracking the weather, I start wondering if it affects how books will sell. In my mind, if it's a sunny day at the beach, then that might mean more people, which means more book sales. sales. Sorry, Tilda, you're just gonna have to wait it out at the cafe for another day. The beach is where we meet Harper for the first time, and she introduces us to the recommendation system. This is easily one of the coolest mechanics in this game if you're playing casually, and later one of the most painful parts of it if you're going for a 100% run. Recommendations work by reading what a customer is asking for and digging through your stock to find something that matches. This can be based on the genre or the themes, if they want something written by a certain author or from a certain time period. Harper asks for a lesser known book with no romance, so I just recommend her Fire Upon the Deep, and then I realized that I just recommended that book to a literal child. I can't lie, at this point I didn't really know what character models equal child and which ones equal adult, and it still became hard for me to figure that out towards the end of the game. So yeah, this is not my fault, this is the game's fault. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna blame the game. Moving swiftly on, I continue selling books throughout the day and soon get another chance to redeem myself when another child asks for a recommendation. This time, I give a much more appropriate result. It's got a cat in it. Yeah! Let's go! First achievement! That successful recommendation earns us our first achievement of the playthrough, Hobbyist Bookseller. But more importantly, recommending books has an actual knock-on effect. When you make a good recommendation, it inspires the rest of your customers in the bookstore for a short period of time, increasing the chance that they'll find books that they like too. This is something that we're going to have to heavily lean into if we want to hit certain sales milestones later on. I finish out the day selling books, pack up for the night, and when morning comes, I finally decide it's time to stop keeping Tilda waiting and meet her at Cafe Liberté. She greets us, awarding me with another stamp. As we talk, she opens up about her old bookstore, explaining that she's looking to sell off some of her leftover items from when she retired. She asks if we would be willing to help transport everything to the weekly market using our wagon, which unlocks a new challenge for a stamp. After picking up Tilda's items, we're given a character memory to complete for her, and these are just as important as stamps for us to hit 100%. To get one of the later achievements, I'll need to complete every memory for every character in the game. When Saturday finally rolls around, we head to the flea market, earning yet another stamp just for visiting. I take some time to wander around the stalls before meeting Anne, who runs the flower stand. She shows me all of her plants and I immediately want all of them in my shop, but the gold in my wallet strongly disagrees. Back at the shop though, Harper pops in again and starts talking about how much she loves the flea market. Apparently she always finds really cool stuff here, and last time even managed to get her hands on some super rare trading cards. She asks how many treasures we've found so far, and then immediately challenges us to beat her record, meaning I need to now buy 7 items from the market. Not long after, Tilda stops by as well and finally takes all of the items I've been hauling around for her. This completes one of the memory tasks, delivery for Tilda. After recommending a few more books, we get another newcomer, Klaus. He introduces himself and mentions that he works at a local supermarket called the Megamarch, which immediately unlocks yet another selling location on the map. And of course, this also comes with a stamp challenge to visit it 3 times. At this point, I decide not to rush over there straight away, and instead I focus on cleaning up some of the stamp tasks that I have already had sitting around for a while, including finally finishing off selling 20 books to sailors, which feels really good to tick off. Whilst exploring the waterfront afterwards though, I stumble across a telescope. Looking for it doesn't really seem to do much at first, as all I can see is some cliffs and a lighthouse in the distance, but as soon as I step away, the game unlocks the lighthouse as a brand new location on the map. Klaus did get in there first for me visiting the Megamarch, so I decide the lighthouse can wait, and instead I head to the supermarket and Klaus meets up with us on his break. He tells us that he's in a band, and did anyone get shocked by that by looking at this guy? He's struggling to write new songs and wants some inspiration, which is Tiny Bookshop for a new task for us. We've got to successfully recommend 3 books to him. When it comes to the first recommendation, I absolutely nail it, but the tricky thing with recommendations right now is that my stock is pretty limited. I can't just flood the shelves with options, so a lot of the time customers ask for things and I just don't have it in stock. That said, the system does kind of let you get a little bit creative. Sometimes you can recommend something that they weren't expecting, like giving an adult who wants a fantasy genre book with animals a kid's book instead, such as Charlotte's Web. Technically, it still fits the brief, and sometimes the game lets you get away with that. Anyway, deciding that the visiting Megamarch 3 times stamp will probably happen naturally over the game, I decide to give in and head to the lighthouse instead. Here we meet Tomaz, a guy who lives and breathes theatre. He gives us a new challenge to sell 15 drama books at the lighthouse. Another thing to note here from editing Mastonia, if I say Thomas, and Tomaz, just assume it's the same guy. This is great, except I only bought 10 books with me today, so that's a problem for future me. I make a mental note that if I'm coming back here, I'll need to seriously stock up on drama books beforehand. I head back to the Mega March, realizing that Klaus definitely isn't going to be hanging out at the lighthouse anytime soon, and I still need 2 more successful recommendations for him. This time he asks for something non-fiction with a historical setting, and with my very limited stock, I take a little bit of a gamble. I recommend How Many Castles in 7 Days, which is a book about traveling the world and visiting castles. It's not exactly a perfect match, but it is the closest thing I've got, and it works. 1 more recommendation to go. So the next day I decide to head back there again and wrap things up. I go to the Mega March once again, earning my stamp for visiting it 3 times. Klaus shows up to the shop, chats with me for a bit, and tells me that the supermarket manager actually loves that we've been selling books here, as apparently it's been bringing in more customers. As a little thank you, we're invited to attend Mega Savings Day. So I stand there waiting patiently for the recommendation prompt to pop up next, and then Klaus leaves. I guess talking about Mega Savings Day was all that his writing allowed him to do that day, so we're just gonna have to finish the recommendation quest another time. At the next flea market, I finally have enough money to buy something actually worthwhile, so I go straight for the storage box, which lets me carry 8 more books at a time. Now, 8 extra books does not sound huge, but at this point in the game, any increase in selling potential is big for us. Whilst I'm there, Klaus joins us at the market, and finally the game gives me the pop-up I have been waiting for. He wants something historical and non-fiction, so I recommend him, I'm gonna butcher this, I'm sorry, Le Corbusier, a book about brutalist architecture written in 1938, and he accepts it. That is our 3rd and final successful recommendation. Klaus tells us that his writer's block is officially gone, which completes his memory task. With that wrapped up, I head back to the beach once again to unlock the stamp for visiting it 3 times. It's a pretty uneventful day right up until Harper shows up and gives me yet another task to sell 15 fantasy books at the beach. I check my stock, and I brought 4. So once again, this becomes a problem for future me to solve. My original plan is to head straight back to the beach to get on that, but before I can do that, I get a letter about Mega Savings Day at the Mega March, and I simply cannot resist checking it out. Before heading over, I equip some new items in the bookshop, including a typewriter. I only mention this as when I arrive at the Mega March, the game lets me interact with it. Doing so triggers a little scene where I am apparently struggling to come up with anything to write. That kind of sounds like me writing this script right now after procrastinating this video for a month. This unlocks a new stamp challenge to keep interacting with the typewriter until I eventually manage to write a book. I have no idea how many days this takes, but to save you the time, just assume that from this point onwards, I am interacting with this typewriter every single day until I mention it again. Klaus stops by and awards us a stamp for attending Mega Savings Day, which takes place every Monday at the supermarket. On these days, my books sell for 1 coin less, but there are more customers around, meaning overall sales can be boosted. This ends up being the most books I've sold in a single day so far, earning us the Bookworm achievement for selling 30 books in 1 day. Riding that high, I head back to the lighthouse to try and finish selling 15 drama books, and whilst I'm there, Harper appears and asks for a book that isn't outdated. However, it does also need to be suitable for a 10-year-old, and I didn't bring any kids' books, so instead this happens. Oh yeah, I'm not giving this child JJK. That's so funny. Okay. Okay, JJK it is. Do you want it? Oh my god, I just gave that to a kid. Yeah, you should really enjoy JJK. Yeah, don't get too traumatized. Moving on, I head back to the beach, determined to finally clear the fantasy book task. By this point, I've realized that once you've visited a location at least once, the journal actually tells you which genres sell the best there. With this information, I stock up on fantasy and children books and head straight back. The next day, Harper awards us the stamp and immediately gives us another challenge, collecting donations so that she can buy shovels and finish her sandcastle. Thankfully, this one doesn't require me to be at the beach, and I don't really want to miss the weekly flea market in case there's another shelf upgrade waiting for me, so I go back to the market. After a few days of daily typewriter interactions, I finally managed to complete a story, and this earns us both a stamp and an achievement. After a few fairly uneventful days, I head over to Cafe Liberté, where we finally meet a new character, Miriam, the owner of the cafe that Tilda mentioned earlier. She introduces herself and then just leaves. There's no task? Who is this woman? I realize I have been conditioned by this game to just expect the locals want me to do something every time they interact with me, but oh, don't you worry, Miriam gets her fair share later on. Now, Miriam might not have a task for me, But I do have one for you. If you're enjoying this video and you're not already subscribed, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. I put a lot of work into these videos and I'm currently on the road to 5k subscribers. Leaving a comment also helps the video reach more people, and it would just genuinely mean a lot to me. Anyway, back to the video. While I'm down at the beach, Anne pops by and asks me what my favourite plant is. Which one's this one? I'm googling this one. Whoa. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen this plant before. I mean, it's so pretty. Put up an image of this plant now. Editing Estonia. Yeah, that's so beautiful. I'm gonna say it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Wow.
It is a beautiful plant. I literally just googled it. After that moment, I head back to the waterfront where Walt is once again sitting by the stairs. He gives us a stamp challenge to equip 3 maritime decorations, which we complete instantly because I already had them equipped before he even arrived. So I talk with him again, immediately cash in the challenge and collect the stamp. Walt tells me that the shop is finally starting to look like a proper vessel and then asks the most important question yet in this entire playthrough: what is her name? Doesn't have one. Oh, we can't have that. A vessel without a name is bad luck. How about Buxtonia? Wait. Honestly, he could not have picked a better one. Buxtonia for Mistonia, it's perfection. Somewhere along the way between all of the book selling and running around the town, I actually hadn't realised that I'd finished collecting donations for Harper's Spades. So when Harper pops into the shop again, she thanks us for helping her out and rewards us with the stamp. At this point, we've managed to tick off quite a few stamp challenges, but there are still plenty left to go. One of the big ones still hanging over me is selling 15 drama books at the lighthouse, but since it's a Wednesday, the plan is to check out the waterfront fish market first and then head to the lighthouse afterwards. When I arrive at the fish market, Walt invites us to browse his wares, and that's when I get an idea. And maybe I can give it to the dog! Oh, no, wait, never mind. I think the seagulls are gonna get to it. No! I can! Okay! Wait, can I do this now? Yes! This is for you! Oh, he looks so excited. Seems like he enjoys the fish. Yay! He's following you! Seems like he really wants to stay with the bookshop. Would you like to take him home with you? Oh, whoever picks this is a heathen. Yes! Yeah! Okay. We adopt the dog, officially named Buddy, which not only gives us a stamp, but also an achievement. Once again, putting off the lighthouse, I head back to the beach to see the results of all the effort helping Harper with her sandcastle. And yeah, it's still being built. But even now, it's absolutely massive and it's an actual masterpiece in progress. While selling books on the beachfront, I managed to unlock the achievement for selling 20 children's books in a single day. This is the first of many achievements like this, and there are versions for every genre, including fantasy, drama, and fact. But that's not even the worst part. Each genre also has a second achievement for selling 40 books in one day, which is kind of unhinged when you can only carry 100 books total and still need variety so customers don't just up and leave. For now though, I think it's best to focus on finishing character memories and stamps for every location, and if achievements like this fall into my lap naturally along the way, that's just a bonus and one less thing I'm gonna have to grind at the end. Speaking of which, I head back to the beach hoping that Harper will comment on the sandcastle's progress, but Anne gets in there first, and she gives us a plant. Hi cutie, hi, oh hi. Who's my favourite boy? Yes you are. Oh wait, before I forget, I have a little something for you. Yay! Okay, so +2 to fact sale. -1 to kids sale. So I could put this on. Oh wait, this is the plant that I said was my favorite. Oh, that's so cute. Harper shows up shortly after and gives us another stamp challenge to sell 15 fantasy books in a single day. Unfortunately, this doesn't count any fantasy books I've already sold today before she got here, so the counter starts from 0 the moment she gives me the task. Luckily, I came prepared with extra books, and not only do I smash the stamp challenge, but I also managed to unlock the achievement for selling 20 fantasy books in one day at the same time. The following week at the flea market, Klaus tells us about an entirely new location, the castle ruins, and gives us yet another stamp challenge just for visiting it. So naturally, the very next day, I head to the far beach. This is because it is the end of summer and the entire town has gathered there for a massive bonfire. We arrive at the beach just in time to see Harper's sandcastle finally finished, and after everything we put into it, seeing it complete is just kind of cute. After a long day of selling books, I head over to the bonfire. Apparently every year the town gathers here to write down things that they want to forget, any regrets or worries or anything they want to let go of, and they toss them into the fire. It's just a really cute end to the summer that actually made me feel all warm inside, which is immediately followed by the first day of autumn. With the season change, I decided to check out the university since it's orientation week and students are flooding in. I'm hoping that this will be the perfect opportunity to sell a lot of fact books, which it mostly is, and just visiting earns us a stamp, so it's a win regardless. While I'm there, I talk to someone sitting on a bench and I actually realise she's a professor at the university. She gives us a new challenge, which is to successfully recommend 3 loved books to her. Not liked, not good, loved books. And immediately things do not go the way I want it to. She wants a fiction book and I have brought almost exclusively fact books, assuming that this would be what sells best on a university campus. The few classics that I do have don't match her request either, so I completely fumble this first recommendation. I'll have to come back another day because you can only attempt to recommend a book to her once per day. While exploring the campus, I notice a statue of St. Buxton. I can't do anything with it right now, but do remember this because it will be important later on. Despite the recommendation disaster from earlier, bringing mostly fact books does pay off. I managed to sell 20 fact books in one day, unlocking another achievement. Once the university day winds down, I check my journal again to figure out where to go next. I skip over the lighthouse stamp again and notice I can quickly knock out one by visiting the castle, so that's where I head instead. Whilst I'm there, I come across a group sitting by a campsite. These are the Pipit Pioneers, a small scouting group that love the outdoors, and they all want something terrifying and give us a challenge to successfully recommend 5 scary stories to them. Just like the professor, I can only recommend them 1 book a day unless I get very lucky with some RNG and they happen to wander inside my shop asking for a scary story recommendation. Just to save you some time, just assume that any time in the future I'm at this campsite, I'm desperately trying to recommend them something scary. As I continue selling books, I'm visited by this absolute style icon, Moira, who's just returned home after being away for the summer. This unlocks the social butterfly achievement for meeting every character in the game. Another person to give me small stamp challenges that I'll forget about, woo! After a few days of grinding out stamp challenges, I eventually returned to the Mega March, where I discovered that their giant inflatable mascot has been deflated. Fern stops by and tells us he wants us to investigate the crime, asking for our help. He gives us a case file and an investigation board that we can hang up in the shop to track clues. This is the first of several cases in this game, and yes, we do need to complete all of them for another achievement. Fern suspects the murder weapon might still be nearby, and after poking around, I managed to find it. During the investigation, I also rack up enough sales to unlock the achievement for selling 20 crime books in a single day, which kind of feels appropriate. To finish the case, we'll need to ask around and figure out who the knife belongs to. This basically means keeping the knife equipped in the shop alongside the case pinned to the board until the culprit eventually wanders in. For now though, I continue selling books and earning money until at the fish market, Tilda mentions she's been dealing with a lot of pain and is gonna need hip replacement surgery. This will definitely not be important later on. Eventually, I managed to successfully recommend 3 books that the professor loves, earning us her stamp, and she rewards us with a bust of St. Buxton, the same figure from the statue outside the university. At the same time, Anne gives us a stamp for selling 15 fact or classic books to students, and finally, I managed to sell 15 drama books at the lighthouse, earning the stamp from Tomaz. When we do, Tomaz immediately gives us another task to recommend 3 plays at the lighthouse. Which sounds simple enough, assuming that the RNG is feeling generous. I head back to the castle once again, trying my luck with the Pipit Pioneers, and this time I absolutely smash it, handing them a classic manga to read. One more successful recommendation closer to being done with them. While I'm there, Harper stops by and mentions that there's a strange noise coming from a cave on the beach, which of course means that we're getting another case to solve. I haven't even finished the first one, guys, please calm down. Back at the waterfront, a huge ship docks into town. From a business perspective, this is incredible. It's full of tourists, and for the entire week it's here, we get a massive boost in customers. Walt, however, is not impressed. These loud tourists are running the town's peaceful vibe, and he asks us to get rid of the boat somehow. I, however, have absolutely no idea how to do that, so I do what I do best, and I leave it alone until it comes back later. While recommending a book to a customer, I hit another milestone achievement for holding 1,000 coins at once. Proof that we're, you know, starting to get somewhere with the bookshop. With Halloween approaching, I start spending some of that money on spooky decorations, because I know I'll need my shop fully decked out if I want to get a good memory with Moira. And speaking of tasks accidentally completing themselves, buying a cauldron means that I've actually purchased 7 items from the flea market. You know, that task that I got right at the beginning of this video. Harper is excited, and that earns us the treasure hunter stamp from earlier. 2 birds, 1 stone. If only all challenges worked out this neatly. At this point, I've been carrying around this murderer's knife for what feels like forever, and not a single clue has shown up about who destroyed the Mega Marsh mascot. So I decide to visit the one place I've somehow avoided this entire time, Cafe Liberté. Immediately Immediately, Miriam reveals that the knife is hers, but she lent it to Tilda and then the knife went missing. So we confront Tilda at the Mega March and she basically admits that she knifed the mascot. She asks if she can trust me to not tell Fern, and listen, I'm no snitch, so when Fern presses me for answers, I stand my ground and case is closed. The fish market rolls around quickly, and this time I load my wagon with travel books, which pays off immediately when I unlock the achievement for selling 20 travel books in a single day. Before we know it, the Fall Fest arrives, earning us an automatic achievement just for selling books there. It's a fairly relaxed day and not really much happens, but we do learn something very important. Walt's anniversary takes place during the Fall Fest because he met his wife there bobbing for apples, which it's just the cutest thing I've ever heard. Later, Harper and I head into a haunted house where I spot something glowing on the floor, and obviously I touch it because I would absolutely be the first to die in a horror movie. But this is not a horror movie, this is a cozy game. Touching it gives us the Mysterious Grimoire, which is a book that boosts classic and fantasy sales at the cost of every other genre. This is going to be really helpful actually later on when we start chasing some of those more painful sales achievements. With winter arriving, I need to rethink where I'm selling. I head back to the castle to keep working on the Pipit Pioneers recommendations when Tilda stops by. She tells us that her hip replacement surgery is coming up and suggests that people at the hospital might be bored, meaning we should start selling books there. This unlocks the hospital as a new location that we can travel to. She also asks us to look after her cat, Freya, while she's away, which earns us the Meow achievement for adopting a cat. Eventually, I successfully recommend all 5 scary books to the Pipit Pioneers as they sit around the campfire sharing spooky stories and we earn their stamp. I head to the winter fish market, but this time I've got a fish displayed in my windowsill and absolute chaos ensues. Wait, are they gonna steal my fish? No, please don't! Wait, ah! No. This is bad. Oh, I hope they don't steal it. I paid good money for this fish. Get away! Get away! Gods, what have you done? I don't know. It's just... Why is it that I put a fish out and these want to attack? And you guys put a fish out and it's fine. Visiting the hospital for Tilda's surgery earns us a stamp, and while we're there, we meet 3 doctors sitting outside who are serial yappers. They give us a task to sell 50 books at the hospital, so the staff actually have something interesting to talk about. Miriam then shows up looking a little disheveled and asks if I'll join her after work to visit Tilda during the visiting hours, and I do just that. Tilda is doing well, but she asked me to pick up her favourite board game from the Mega March because hospital life is boring. Before we leave, Miriam thanks us for being there for her, unlocking one of her memories. I head straight to the Mega March, struggling to figure out how to get the board game, clicking on absolutely everything until Klaus finally steps in, hands it over, and we return to Tilda. Of course, this leads to another fetch quest, this time for a fish finger sandwich from Willy. We grab it from the waterfront market, bring it back, and then Tilda asks for one last thing, a strawberry pastry from Cafe Liberté. Before grabbing that, I managed to complete the Fuel the Rumour Mill quest by selling 50 books at the hospital and talking to the doctors. And because this is Tiny Bookshop, finishing one task immediately unlocks another, recommending 5 romance books at the hospital. I pick up the pastry from Cafe Liberté, return to the hospital, finish the romance recommendations, and finally wrap up Tilda's entire hospital quest line, earning the achievement, Be There for Tilda, for supporting her through her surgery. While travelling around and selling a few more books to build up money, I unlock another achievement, Drama Llama. And with the winter market finally here, we head over to see what it's all about, earning the 'Tis the Season achievement. While I'm at the winter market, I notice just how many people are coming through the shop, and it is absolutely packed. That's when I remember there's an achievement for selling out every single book in your store. And with that, I come up with this genius idea. If I only stock a small number of books, and I sell all of them, that's still me selling out of all of the books, right? So I make sure to only put a few books in my store. Ones that will sell well at the market, mainly drama and crime, and after a couple days of grinding, plus some very generous RNG, 2 more books. 1 more book! Come on, we just need 1 person for crime. 1 person just needs a crime book. Recommendation, cool. Say you want something spooky. I can only recommend you this. Go on. Oh, yes! Cracking out a few stamps and achievements now. Back at the waterfront, I somehow end up selling 10 books to seagulls, unlocking the achievement Seagull Literacy, and at the winter market, I equip all of my festive decorations, which immediately earns us another stamp. With only 2 stamps left to finish the hospital section of the stamp book, I head back there to keep working on the Nosy Doctor's quest. And I'm just gonna say it, I feel like openly discussing patients like this has to be some sort of violation like rule. If not illegal, then I think it's like morally wrong. While I'm there, Tilda visits again and mentions how bored everyone was during her hospital stay. She wants us to help collect donations for a gardening project at the hospital. This is the final task we need to complete all of the hospital stamps. After a few days of grinding, I finally hit 200 coins in the donation box, and after one last recommendation of none other than Oron High School Host Club, I earned the final hospital stamp. Looking through the stamp book, I've officially completed my first full location. There are still quite a few left to go though, including the lighthouse. At this point, I'm about 11 hours into this playthrough and I can already feel myself starting to mentally check out. When this happens though, I tend to just start clicking around. This time, however, at the lighthouse, clicking the sheep unlocks an achievement for me for clicking them 100 times. While I'm here, I also complete the stamp All the World's a Stage. Not only that, but during my stamp hunting, I end up stockpiling books until I hit 1,000 books in storage, unlocking the private library achievement. Winter comes and goes surprisingly fast, and before I know it, the winter market celebration rolls around. There are so many people attending that I sell an absurd number of books, and while recommending Howl's Moving Castle, I unlock the Master Bibliophile achievement. What do you guys call autumn? It's fall, isn't it? Fall. Hi, you got another book for me? Odd Romance. I say you guys because you lot have... oh, Howl's Moving Castle is a great romance. Whoa! Successfully recommend 5 books in a single day! Anyway, sorry. I say you all because most of the people who watch my channel are American. And I think that's really funny when I'm British. I'm Northern. I'm from the north. Never forget that day down in Pitt. And just like that, the winter market ends. The whole town gathers together, hot chocolate in hand, counting down to midnight and watching the fireworks. I know I've said this, but like, look how cute this is. Come on, this game is so cozy. I just want to go get myself a hot chocolate whilst editing this video right now. After what feels like an endless search, the next day I finally find it. A new shelf for sale in the newspaper market. I buy it immediately and now I can offer an even wider range of books to customers. Once again, I flick through the journal to see which stamps I'm still missing, and it just feels like I'm so close yet so far from greatness. I decide to head back to the university since I'm still missing 3 stamps there. Instead of a stamp challenge though, I get a personal quest from Anne. She asked me to equip a plant in my bookstore and help it grow. All I need to do is equip it at inner city locations, so anything that's away from the sea. This means that this one should kind of complete itself naturally just by playing the game, as long as I have it equipped. We didn't actually pick up any new stamp quests whilst we were here though, so I changed plans and head to the castle ruins instead. And it turns out recommending all those scary books earlier may have had unintended consequences. The Pipit Pioneers have been having nightmares. They've started drawing horrifying pictures for their camp leader Anne, who understandably wants to put a stop to this immediately. She asked us to recommend 5 nature or animal books to the kids instead, so they can, you know, learn about plants instead of being traumatized. Over the next few in-game days, I recommend books like My Life Depends on It, and eventually I get all 5 successful recommendations, earning myself another stamp. With that done, I decide to keep pushing through the castle ruins, since I'm only now 2 stamps away from completing the entire area. The next one requires selling 12 fact books, which would have been painful earlier, but thanks to the extra shelf I bought, I actually came prepared. I come back the next day, chat with the pioneers, and successfully recommend one last fact book. Anne hands over the stamp and we're one step closer to finishing this location. She then introduces a brand new stamp quest, collecting 50 signatures so the council can approve the new hiking trail. Thankfully this one is completed naturally just by playing the game, so I don't really need to stay glued to the castle ruins. So with that sorting itself out in the background, I instead head over to the lighthouse to work on stamps there. Here, Thomas tells us that he wants to put on a production of Julius Caesar, and that requires a stage. Of course, he decides that the local bookseller should fund the entire thing. I would love to know what this town did before I even arrived in it. First, he asks us to pay for lighting. Being the best bookseller around, obviously I get him the highest quality lights. The next day, he asks about props, and again, top quality, and finally on the 3rd day he asks what chairs the audience should sit on. Everyone, support the arts. And with that stamp complete, there is now only 1 stamp left at the lighthouse, which means it's clearly time to go literally anywhere else, so I head to the beach and work on stamps there instead. Whilst I'm there, Harper comes over and mentions the ominous howling sound coming from one of the beach caves, and she wants to check it out. So naturally, I follow this child into a dark cave. Inside, Harper switches on her torch, and we find a poem carved into the cave wall. Beneath it lies a fragment of an old family crest, which kicks off a brand new case to find all of the missing pieces scattered throughout the town. We pocket the fragment and leave, but just as we're heading out, the howling starts again. Turns out it was just a sea lion. Everyone is calm about this but me. I just willingly took a child into a cave occupied by a highly territorial animal that uses its howling to ward off intruders. I don't think wildly irresponsible covers it. Anyway, I'm now on the hunt for remaining fragments, so I head towards Cafe Liberté, only to overhear an argument between Miriam and Moira. Helping them fix their relationship is actually part of both their quest lines, but that's a problem for later. For now, it's fragments first, so I head to the fountain, inspect it, and it opens up to reveal the second fragment. Next stop is the waterfront square, where the cruise ship happens to be in town again. I often equip the fish decoration whenever I go to the waterfront so that it attracts the seagulls, giving me even more customers. But today, doing this scares the tourists who just came in on the ship, as they decide to just up and leave immediately. I mean, if it works, but I'm not sacrificing my loyal seagull customers just so some tourists can browse in my shop comfortably. While all of this is happening, Tilda visits the shop and tells us that she's noticed how much we've been doing for the community, and because of that, she wants to offer us her old bookstore as a permanent place to sell books from. This is actually really huge for us, and she says she'll discuss the details with us tomorrow. Not long after, Anne stops by and lets us know we've completed the petition for the new hiking trails and gives us the final stamp needed to complete the Castle Ruins location. Honestly, this whole stamp thing has been one of the most time-consuming achievements of the entire run, and we're officially getting close to filling out the whole stamp journal now. As the day ends, we watch the cruise ship turn around and leave. Walt is absolutely ecstatic about it, but in hindsight, maybe I should have enjoyed the extra customers for a little bit longer and scared them off on their last day in town just to get some extra cash. But I also didn't really know that a fish would apparently be the downfall of an entire cruise. We unlock Walt's memory and earn an achievement for scaring away the tourists. I check my journal again, and we've cleared through a lot, but there is still so much left. At this point, filling out the stamp book is starting to feel like a little bit of a slog, so for a little bit of a serotonin boost, I decide to finally head back to Lighthouse and finish it off. The stage is set in the background, the production is ready, and now all that's left is to sell the tickets to the performance. While we're selling tickets, Tilda drops by to explain the conditions for getting a proper bookstore. First, we need 4 shelves, and currently I have 3. It took me nearly a full in-game year to get 2 shelves, so I'm just gonna hope the market RNG gods are on my side for that one. Second, we need to complete Miriam's 6-step business course to make sure the bookstore doesn't immediately fail once it's handed over to us, which is fair enough. And finally, we need 4 golden/core memories with at least 4 locals. Golden memories are like the final memory quests for each character, meaning we need to fully complete the storylines for 4 different people. This sounds horrible at first, but honestly, we've been slowly chipping away at a lot of these memories the entire playthrough, so we're actually kind of closer than it seems. If we complete all of these requirements, then we can get ourselves a permanent bookstore, but before any of that, we still have tickets to sell. Harper pops into the shop and notices our statue of St. Buxton himself, the one we got from that old professor at the university. She fiddles around with it for a bit and pops out the final fragment for the quest. With the flea market rolling around again, I decide to stop by and casually try my luck at finding another shelf. And there it is. It's beautiful. Buying it completes the first requirement of Tilda's bookstore conditions. While we're here, Harper pops into the shop and tells us she's pieced together all of the crest fragments. According to her, it kinda looks like a key and that there might be a secret door somewhere. By the end of the flea market trip, the plant that I absolutely did not forget about that Anne gave us like 20 minutes ago grows a little bit, so that's something. Next, I head to Cafe Liberté, assuming that this is where I can start Miriam's business course, one of Tilda's other conditions for the bookstore. And sure enough, Miriam is there and she explains the first task to us. It is to successfully recommend 3 books. That sounds easy, and it's because it is. Cafe Liberté was the second location I unlocked, and I have barely been here since, which means the stamp challenges here are actually really easy compared to everywhere else. Within about 2 minutes I finished the task, and the next day Miriam asked me to equip 3 classy decorations, which I currently own around 20, so again, that was a walk in the park. Next, she gives me something slightly harder, to sell about 10 books in one day whilst there's rubbish outside the shop, which applies a minus 20% penalty to all sale chances. For a new player, this might be tough, but I'm over 20 hours deep at this point, so I clear it without much trouble. What I love about this stretch is that we're not only smashing through the business course to keep Tilda happy, but we're also racking up Cafe Liberté stamps at the same time. 2 birds, 1 stone, baby. The next challenge is to keep a 3-day selling streak at Cafe Liberté, which is easy enough, and whilst I'm here, we also hit 50 tickets sold for the Lighthouse performance, so we'll be able to cash that in soon, but for now, I've got a streak to hit. After 3 days selling at Cafe Liberté, Miriam asks us to sell 1 book from every genre in a single day. Keen-eyed viewers may notice that the task here reads 6 out of 6 already, and that's because I did it before Miriam even spoke to us. I will continue to sell books at Cafe Liberté, but as the day rolls around, I earn the achievement for spending 1 full year in Buxtonbury, and it is the last day of spring, which means I have to head to Rye Park for the Flower Festival, earning another achievement, Revive the Flower Festival. And because it's my first time here, I also get a stamp for the location. I am on a roll right now. At the festival, I'm tasked with judging everyone's flower arrangements. Moira and Anne present a very abstract piece, Klaus and Harper have made what I can only describe as an ode to turkey dinosaurs, and Walt and Fern have created an octopus. I wanted to give the first place to Klaus and Harper because of that turkey dinosaur representation, but ultimately I chose Moira and Anne because I have ulterior motives and their flowers would look the nicest in my shop. For completing the first year and the festival, we're given a group photo of all of the locals. With the new year starting, I immediately flick through the journal to see which stamps I missed in year 1, and then I make the mistake of checking my remaining achievements. 30. I still have 30 achievements to go. That sounds horrifying, and it is, but a lot of them are genre-based challenges like selling 40 books of a specific genre in a day. For example, selling 40 kids books in a day, selling 40 facts books in a day, and so on. That's gonna be a grindy montage later in this video, but for now, summer is rolling back around, so I head to the beach to finish off the remaining stamps there. While selling books, a concerned parent shows up and asks me to sell 20 crime books at the beach. Thanks to the summer crowds and my earlier theory about seasonal selling being proven completely correct, the shop is packed, and I even managed to sell 60 books in one day, unlocking an achievement along the way. After she returns to give us the stamp, the concerned parent immediately gets angry at me for doing exactly what I asked. Apparently there are kids around that can see these crime books, and I'm the irresponsible one for selling them. The beach is unsafe and people could slip, and now she wants me to sell even more crime books. Specifically 15 crime books in one day. Unfortunately for me though, the quest starts after she leaves, which is especially cruel because she showed up right as my shop was closing and I had already sold a lot of crime books that day. Once I finally managed to sell them, she comes back and complains again, this time about beach safety. Didn't you guys know people are swimming wherever they want? And she wants me to do something about it. Ma'am, I am a bookseller, not the council. Her original issue was me selling crime books near children, and now she wants me to sell more crime books to fund a watchtower. Why is everything my job in this town? Over the next few days, I grind out donations by selling discounted crime books, listen to emo music, and get emotionally attacked by this woman. Whoa, I am selling a lot of things right now. There's a lot of speech bubbles. I hate you so much, get out my shop. And there goes my one valid crash out for the entire video. Eventually I get enough donations and complete the challenge. I speak to her one last time, earning the final beach stamp, and leave that location behind forever. I hope to see this woman never again. Since we sold all those tickets earlier, I decide now is the perfect time to finish the lighthouse as well. Talking to Tomas, he gives us the final lighthouse stamp and tells us the performance will be happening next Friday. Conveniently for me though, that's only 2 days away and I have some unfinished business. Whilst waiting, I head back to Cafe Liberté to see if Miriam is ready to give us the final stamp challenge, and she is. Her final test is a quiz to see if I've been paying attention during my entire time in Buxtonbury. Well, with no time like the present, I decide to take the quiz immediately. The first question is, what is the least optimal day to visit the Mega March? This is kind of a subjective question. I go with Monday because Mondays are saving days, loads of people show up, but everything you sell is discounted, and sometimes you won't make a lot of money because of that. It's often more useful for clearing out challenges when you need to sell a certain amount of books or something. Miriam tells me this is incorrect, and her reasoning is, even if you are operating at a loss, it's still a great opportunity to serve your customers. Miriam, you are meant to be the business one. Operating at a loss is optimal. Are you okay? No, Mistonia. You've already had your crash out earlier on in this video, you can't have it again, this is meant to be a cozy video. The remaining questions are actually much easier, so one of them is, when it's snowing, what do people appreciate most? And I say something warm. But finally, what does Cafe Liberté's weather vane resemble comes up, and I take an educated guess. It's a cafe, so I go for the croissant. The answer options help, but without them, I would have had absolutely no idea. And with that, we pass, earning our final Cafe Liberté stamp, officially completing Miriam's business course, and receiving our membership to Blah Blah, her organisation that essentially certifies us as a real legitimate business in Buxtonbury. Not only that, but this also unlocks a memory with Miriam. Tilda comes in immediately afterwards, congratulates us on finishing the course, and lets us know that now all that stands between us and her old bookstore is getting 4 golden memories with the townsfolk. She also takes a moment to lightly roast the name Blah Blah, which honestly I really appreciate being involved in the town gossip. I take a look at everyone's memories and realise most of them are still in a little bit need of work. Rather than hard grinding them, I decide decide to leave that for later and focus on finishing the stamps off while things progress naturally. Perfect timing because today is the day of the theatre performance at the Lighthouse. Whilst I'm there, Moira pops in and brings up that argument she had with Miriam earlier. She wants to fix things and her plan is kind of ambitious. She believes that there is a seventh rule to the Bar business scheme that's been lost to history, something that Miriam has been obsessed with finding, so Moira asked me to help track it down. Before the play begins, it feels like the entire town shows up. Everyone pops into the shop to chat about the performance beforehand, and when it finally starts, Tomaz and the cast absolutely smash it out the park. Clearly the highest quality equipment money was spent very well. This earns us the achievement for watching Tomaz's plays, and the next day, Klaus lets us know that the stage we had funded had actually been repurposed for his band to perform on. We're invited to the concert on Thursday. While waiting for Thursday, I start asking around the town about the seventh rule from Moira. I head to the waterfront and ask Walt, who reveals he owns an old compendium that might help, one that could tell us who the author of the rulebook is that we're looking for. He's not willing to hand it over because it's rare, which is really fair, probably really expensive as well, but when I say Moira really needs it, he instantly folds. He still asks for 25 gold, but honestly, for a rare book, that is a steal. The book reveals that the author's name is Roderick Blyton. Later on, Tilda stops by and mentions that Roderick Blyton is actually the old lighthouse keeper. Shortly after, Moira comes into the shop and I'm able to tell her everything that we've learned so far. While Moira works through that information, and while I'm still waiting for Klaus's concert, I decide to check out Rye Park properly. I haven't done much here outside of the Flower Festival, and there's still quite a lot of stamps missing. I find a little sign explaining that different clubs meet at the park depending on the day. Chess on Mondays and Wednesdays, yoga on Tuesdays and Thursdays, creative writing on Fridays and Sundays, and the Buxton University study groups on Saturdays, only if the weather is nice. Fern stops by and asks if I can check out all of the clubs for him. He's a little bit nervous about attending them himself and wants a full report on whether they're gonna be good or bad, or if the people there are nice or anything like that. So I get started immediately. The chess club is already meeting on this day, so I join them and that earns me the chess stamp. The next day I arrive early for yoga and Anne and Klaus are both there. Anne looks ready to go in her athletic gear and Klaus is just wearing trousers and sneakers. I'm not going to subject you to the voice that I gave the yoga instructor, but I do get the stamp for attending.
Yay! Please join us in our next exercise.
In classic Mastonia fashion, instead of continuing to get the next stamps for these clubs, I immediately pivot and try to trigger Moira's next quest, because for several days now she's been coming into the shop and saying absolutely nothing. So I go to the lighthouse and it works. Moira tells us that she wants to contact the spirit world tonight and speak to Roderick Blyton's ghost. So I sell the rest of my books, close up shop, and meet her there. Honestly, kind of off topic, but if this character had half orange hair, this would be me and my friends sitting right here. I'm just kidding. None of us leave the house and I sit inside and 100% cozy games for a living. Moira and her friends begin performing some sort of ritual. Lightning strikes the lighthouse and the door to the abandoned house swings open. We head inside, search around, climb to the top of the lighthouse, and finally we find it. The book containing the infamous seventh rule. Always put trust in others. Moira is gonna love that one. It's exactly what she needs with the argument she's been having with Miriam. Honestly, could you imagine if it said something like, always listen to your elders? I think she would have had to pretend she never found it. But with that, the case is officially closed, and for now, it's finally time for Klaus's performance. He pops into the shop beforehand and is absolutely losing his mind. Now, not to be an elitist or anything, I wasn't exactly expecting Lorna Shaw, but I also don't think I was expecting this. This is like, this is indie, right? I'm not losing my mind. This is indie music. This sounds like Arctic Monkeys, bro. I thought these guys played metal. Whoa, look at that. Everyone's in time, bro. Hell yeah. Boop, ba-doo, boop, boop, ba-doo, 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 boop, ba-doo. Yeah! Make some noise for Tiny Bookshop! As the gig ends, we earn the achievement for attending Klaus's concert, and I immediately go off on a tangent about Ear Defenders. Oh, that's so cute. This was so metal. Yes, okay, I'm about to go on a mini rant here. My ears are ringing now. Anytime you go to a gig, regardless of your age, if you're young, old, anything in between, you need to be wearing ear defenders. It's really important. All of the technicians, all of the people on stage, they're all wearing ear defenders, but especially if you go to metal gigs, because the amount of times I've been to metal gigs where the band is screaming, and some of the people on sound are like, oh, loud screamy music, so it has to be loud, let me turn that up, and it is not good for you. You'll regret it when you're older and you can't hear. Wear ear defenders when you go to gigs, especially metal ones. That's my little rant. Anyway, I got the achievement. After that brief detour, I head back to Rye Park to catch up with the writers group, and then the next day I return for the study group, earning 2 more stamps and completing Fern's task to scout out all of the clubs. After hearing my report, Fern decides to face his fears and join the writers group himself. Character growth, we love to see it. Whilst waiting for the writers group to roll around again so I can chat with Fern, I actually spend Sunday at the Mega Marsh where I spot Klaus working on a van. He tells me he's going on tour with the band and needs help finding parts because it's a bit of a fixer-upper. So from now on, just assume if I see a van part, I'm buying it. After a slow day of sales, the pitcher plant I've been carrying around finally fully grows, and the next time I see Anne, I'll be able to tell her the good news. I head back to the park knowing it'll be a busy day because it's club day, chess is on, and I join in and get absolutely destroyed. However, I will be back and I will get my vengeance. While I'm there, Fern gives me the final stamp quest for Rye Park to sell 100 books here. For context, late game energy here, I sell 38 books in one day alone, so this is not going to take long. Anne also pops in to inspect the fully grown pitcher plant, and in return for finishing her quest, she gives me another plant to grow. This one depends on rain this time. I eventually return to the chess club, play again, and this time barely scrape out a win, earning the winner chess match achievement. Part of me is kind of sad that there isn't actually a real chess mini game, but also part of me is relieved because I absolutely would have been annihilated at that. Quick reminder to myself that I still haven't completed a single golden memory yet, let alone 4, but back to selling books for now. I hit 85 out of 100 for Rye Park's final stamp, and before starting the next day, I pick up another van part from the newspaper shop. I return to Rye Park, joining on the yoga session, and earn the achievement, do some yoga without straining yourself. I also finished selling 100 books, talk to Fern, and earn the final Rye Park stamp. Goodbye Rye Park, I will never be seeing you again. Next stop, I head to the university to work on the stamps there, but because it's summer there's actually nobody around, everyone's gone away for the holidays. I click around to pass the time and inspect the statue, and realize it would perfectly fit the crest that Harper and I found earlier. Just to stress how dead this place is in summer, for context, I only had 2 customers that entire day. I will not be returning to the university until summer holidays are over unless I absolutely have to. Instead, I head to the Mega Marsh, finally collecting the last van parts for Klaus and hand them in. He tries the ignition and it works. He tells me Friday is the day he's leaving on tour and asks me to come down to the waterfront to wave him off. Moments later, Harper comes into the store and I tell her about the statue at the university. Despite me vowing to never return there literally 2 minutes ago, I immediately go back with her. Luckily, the season has changed to autumn in this time and freshers are arriving, meaning not only I can progress the quest, but I can actually make some decent sales here too. During the day, Fern mentions a printing press that shut down and how he wants to revive it to publish the newspaper. Nothing immediate, but I can feel a memory quest just brewing in the distance here. After closing, Harper and I meet at the statue, slot the crest into place, and the statue moves, revealing a secret doorway. Why do Harper and I keep going into like dark, mysterious places together? Inside, we discover a hidden library. A book lies open on the table, revealing that Saint Buxton isn't actually real. He was invented by the university to erase the name of Sophia Theodosia, the real author behind all of these books. As we leave, Harper tells me how much this adventure meant to her, but it's late and she needs to get to bed. And with that, the case is closed, and we earn 2 achievements. One for uncovering the truth about Saint Buxton, and another for solving every case in Buxtonbury. But most importantly, we get our first golden memory with Harper. Only 3 more to go for that bookstore. While waiting for Klaus's departure, I head to the waterfront to make some money and immediately notice that Willie has opened an entirely new shop selling brand new items. He also gives us a memory challenge, a cross promotion between my bookstore and his trinket shop. I need to sell 30 books at the waterfront in one day to attract customers to come to his shop too. I'm just listening back to that and I said trinket like the meme. Trinkets! What a day to attempt this on though, because it's raining, which reduces our customer numbers. No problem though, because we always have the seagulls to sell to. Despite the weather, we smash the cross promotion in a single day and head back to Walt to claim the reward. He thanks us for everything that we've done, and just like that, we unlock his core memory, earning the achievement Trinkets and Treasures. Trinkets and Treasures! I'm actually getting really shocked at how fast these golden memories are flying in now, and to keep that streak going, I head to Cafe Liberté to see how the whole 7th rule situation plays out. Moira pulls Miriam aside and finally shows her the page from the old compendium with the missing rule. Miriam apologizes for overlooking Moira's skills and asks her to take over Cafe Liberté. They hug and make up, and your boy unlocks another core memory, earning the Family Feud achievement. Checking my notebook, I realize this isn't just Moira's core memory, but it also completes Miriam's, which should mean that's our 4th golden memory, yeah? No. Apparently, because it's shared between the two people, it only counts as one. I hate it. I get it, but I hate it. But thankfully we're not waiting too long though, as after that it's time to say goodbye to Klaus as he heads off on tour with the band. Moira stays behind to help Marianne with the cafe, and we wave Klaus off at the waterfront. And with that, our fourth core memory is unlocked, earning the achievement World Tour. Almost immediately, Tilda pops by the shop, and as we've officially helped 4 people reach their core memories, she hands us the keys to her old bookstore. She tells us she's preparing a little welcome party and asks us to meet her there tomorrow. We do, and Tilda holds an official opening for the shop. The entire town shows up and they all say lovely things about us, but I don't think the game quite expected me to do this immediately after saying goodbye to Klaus on his tour, but we'll just pretend he can be in 2 places at once, it's fine. There is also a moment where Moira seems upset that Marianne doesn't recognize her work, which, yeah. I think achievement hunting may have caused some timeline issues here as I completed certain things in maybe a different order than people normally do. This is huge! No way do we actually have an actual bookstore. The amount of people who probably haven't even gotten to this point in this game as well, because like it has taken a lot to get here, it's kind of crazy. Oh wait, this is the end of the game! Okay, never mind. I finished the game. Please put me back into the game. I didn't realize I would get credits here. Okay, put me back in the game. Amazing. That was real cute. I really enjoyed Oh! No, I do get to have the bookshop! Oh, this is amazing! Okay. You can switch to decorating Tilda's shop by clicking here. Wait, this is huge! Okay. I can sell so many books in here. And just like that, we officially own a real bookstore. From now on, whenever we visit Cafe Liberté, we sell books from the permanent shop instead of the Tiny Bookshop. It's really cute that they added this, but I'll be honest, I barely end up using this. Most of the achievements I still need rely heavily on specific locations and their genre bonuses, so the Tiny Bookshop still remains the real workhorse for now. Still, for casual players playing this game, it's kind of cool that you get to have a shop. I checked the journal again to see what stamps I'm missing. At this point, we've only got 1 stamp left at the Mega March and a handful at the university. I decide to knock out the Mega March first, and while we're there, Fern hits us with another request. He needs 300 gold in donations to start the printing press again. Somehow, I knew this would end up being my problem. So I spend the next few days absolutely grinding, selling books to raise the full 300 gold. During this time, I spot a pop-up shop selling Klaus's band merch at the Mega March, which is honestly kind of cute that they did that for his band. Completing that also earns me the final Mega March stamp. We are really close now, just the university left. Before heading there though, I decide to clean up some unfinished business here first, including finally getting that plant to grow and finishing Fern's donations for the printing press. Over the next few days, bouncing between the beach and the market, I managed to finish both. While I'm at the market though, I remember there's an achievement for equipping a bunch of plants. I'm not really sure how many, so I grab a few more just in case, equip all of them, and earn the Tiny Plant Shop achievement for equipping at least 12 plants. And honestly, the shop kinda looks adorable. With the donations collected, I head to the university where Fern greets us and tells us the printing press is finally ready. After a very slow day of sales, I meet him there, and this place lets us buy even more books, but more importantly, we can now turn the townsfolk's manuscripts into real sellable books. Throughout the game, people have been handing me their manuscripts after hearing Fern wanted to revive the press, and well now I can actually print them. And oh boy, there is a very fun quest involving that later on. For now, I buy a few things from the press, including the blah blah compendium, which happens to be the 100th item I've ever purchased, earning me the second-hand hoarder achievement. Helping Fern restart the press also unlocks his core memory and the achievement that comes with that too. I was genuinely not expecting to tick off this many goals in such a short span of time, but I'll absolutely take it. Since I've been putting it off, I finally decided to properly check out the new bookstore, set it up with furniture, and attempt one of the bigger achievements, selling 40 books of a single genre in one day. So I stock up on 50 travel books and give it a go, and this ain't it. Initially, I assumed that because the permanent bookstore holds more stock, this would make the challenge easier. Turns out, no matter where you are, you can only have 100 books in stock at a time, so getting the new store doesn't really help at all. Still, it's not a total loss. Tilda actually pops in to say hello, and that unlocks her core memory as she officially entrusts us with the bookstore. By the end of the day, I've sold exactly 16 travel books, so not quite the 40 I was hoping for. I head back to the Tiny Bookshop instead, focusing on earning some money and checking what different vendors have available. And remember that fun little quest I mentioned earlier? here, Fern pops in and gives it to us. We now have to recommend 7 printed books to the locals. Now I know what you're thinking, 7 printed book recommendations? That doesn't actually sound too bad, it's not a lot of books, and you would be right, it's not. Except for the part where I need RNG just for a hand-printed book to even appear on my shelves. Then I need RNG for it not to immediately sell itself when someone comes into the store. Then I need RNG for someone to actually ask for a recommendation, and then I need even more RNG for that request to vaguely match the genre of book that I want. Whilst I'm thinking about that though, I actually get the achievement for selling 20 classic books in a day, and I'm actually just kind of shocked that I didn't get this earlier on in the playthrough. But now, it is time for the real grind, selling 40 books of a single genre in one day. I start with drama, I load up 50 drama books and sprinkle a few others in so customers don't immediately flee, and equip only items that boost my drama sales. I think the reason I hate this grind so much is because the game forces you to be involved. Every recommendation actually matters, so you need to make sure you're clicking them because it gives you a sales boost and potentially ticks the genre counter that you're chasing. 30 hours into this game, I just don't want to be locked in like this. I want to be idle simming, but no, these achievements demand my full attention. The day isn't looking great as I'm nowhere near 40 until this one guy shows up and just keeps buying drama. His stack is rolling and he's single-handedly carrying my hopes and dreams, and then the dice roll. The day ends at 33. But honestly, 33? I think that's close enough to give me hope, and that's when the Mega Mind strategy activates. I reload the day again and again until I get the right RNG. I stop recording. Okay, it could be happening here. I started recording again. These two are like in a bidding war. No. Okay, 6 more, come on. I don't think it's gonna happen. Oh, come on. Oh my god, 4 more. You just need to do this 4 more times. Roll the dice 4 more times. You're like so close, genuinely. You're gonna... 3 more times. Oh my god. Genuinely, stop this. I'm stressed. 2. Okay. Okay. If this happens, this is the... I literally just stopped recording 2 seconds ago. One more. Come on, please. This feels like I'm betting. Oh, all on red. Oh, are you kidding? Are you kidding? No! Okay, we can do it though. It's doable. That's so close. It's just RNG. And after a few more resets, I think we can do it with 3 people. Look, 5 more. 5 more between 3. 4 more. Come on. Okay. Ooh, my heart's racing. One more. Yes! Let's go! Oh, that feels so good. Okay. Now I just have to do that again, but for every genre. At this point, I'm kind of just unhinged. I'm planning routes, I'm optimizing decorations, calculating how many books of each genre to bring to each location. As my cozy little bookshop game is not a cozy game anymore, it becomes a strategy game. Crime is next, and it's an absolute disaster. One run ends at 25, a couple more scrape 29, and I start recording when it looks promising. Nothing. 20 minutes later though, I smell potential. Oh, there's potential here. There's potential. Come on. Yay! Fantasy comes next. Potential here. Ooh, real potential. Genuinely real potential. Okay, that's fine. We've still got 3 more going. Just need to get 4 more. Come on. Oh my god. No. We can actually do this. Roll this, please. Okay, we can do it. Come on. You've got to roll it. Oh my... Come on, please. Yes. Then I head to the university to try my luck with fact books during the exam season. Whilst I'm there, Moira pops in and asks me to decorate the store with calming items to help soothe the stressed students, which is when I realise I've been so deep in this achievement hunting thing that I still haven't finished the university stamps. I honestly think it'll be best if I deal with that after I've done this stamp, so I end the day on 35 fact books sold, and in my head, anything over 30 is doable, so I reset. A couple of tries later, this happens. I think we're gonna do it here. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Yay. Then it's the classics. I pop back the next day with all of the calming items equipped, Moira gives me the stamp, and when I check the journal, I realize there's only 1 university stamp left. I talk to the tutor, and for all of my hard work, she awards me with an honorary diploma, giving me the final stamp for the university, the final stamp in the entire game, and one of the hardest achievements overall, stamp collector. We are officially in the home stretch here. While I'm still grinding the genre achievements, I spot a familiar face in the shop. Buying him gets me the mascot rescue achievement and nudges me closer to a different one. Travel books are next though, so I head to the fish market and... Oh, we're gonna smash this. We're absolutely gonna smash this. I don't even need to grab that. We're getting it, we're getting it. Yep, there you go. Nice! Let's go! I don't think we have many more to do. I think it's just kids next. I think we've done everything but kids. This is exciting! After that, the newspaper shop starts selling mega red paint, and suddenly I realize what time it is. The Mega Marsh achievement. For the low price of turning my bookshop into an absolute eyesore, I earned the Mega Fan achievement. Not you though, inflatable man, you could never be an eyesore. Somewhere in the middle of this, that plant that Anne gave me forever ago, yep, that one, it finally grows. I wait for Anne to stop by, she sees it, and immediately gives me another plant to grow. I'm losing my mind. I keep juggling with this printed book quest, desperately trying to force recommendations, and when Anne asks for something romantic, I fully wing it and somehow it works. As the day ends, the plant finally fully grows. I show it to Anne, unlock her memory, help her finish her research project, and get the Master of Plants achievement. Before moving on, I quickly equip every dangerous item I own to grab the Safety Risk achievement, and immediately unequip them all like a responsible business owner. I head to Anne's graduation, and we watch her cross the stage, talk afterwards, and finally unlock her core memory, earning Friends Till the End for completing every memory in the game. At this point, there is only one genre achievement left, which is selling 40 kids books in a day. Come on, 2 more. 1 more, 1 more. Yes! Okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, 1 more achievement to get. 1 more, let's go! And then I can put this game down. Okay, final achievement. This means there is only 1 achievement left, going bankrupt. So here's the plan. Equip the most expensive decorations I own so my daily costs are outrageous. Stock a single book so everyone walks in, doesn't find what they want, and leaves. And every single day, I'm buying everything in the shops. And with that, tomorrow rolls around with 88 gold to my name. I buy 2 boxes of books worth 30 and 45 gold each, getting me down to just 13 gold. Luckily for me, there are 2 locations on the map which cost more than this to set up at, so I head myself to that beautiful 15 gold beach and earn the final achievement of the game, Sunk Cost Fallacy, for putting myself into debt. And with that, I have officially 100%ed Tiny Bookshop. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then do consider giving it a like and subscribing to my channel for more content just like this one. Have you played this game before? Do you have any recommendations for future videos? Let me know down below because I'd love to chat with you all about it. And with that, I will see you all in the next one.